my nightmare.
All right. What's up, my fellow spooky folks? It's the man of horror himself and the 2023 future Face of Horror winner, Troy Ryan. This is Man of Horror, my horror pod where I talk all things scary. Today, I wanted to review and rate Birdbox Barcelona with you guys and then share another week in horror. So let's go ahead and dive in.
I'm every nightmare you ever had. I am your worst dream come true. I'm everything you ever were afraid of.
Now, first off, Bird Box is the series that came out, I want to say it was at 2020, around 2020, 2021. I know it was around COVID time and it was one of those stay-at-home movie premiere kind of things. But ultimately, if you haven't seen it, it is basically about entities that are invisible and that once you see them cause you to basically kill yourself or go crazy and force other people to see them as well. Um, it, and apparently, birds are able to sense or maybe even see these beings, and they signify when they are near. So, birds keep birds in a little box for help. Bird box. Essentially, obviously, people would need to walk around blindfolded. So that's what happens for most of the movie. So that's the first one. And then this one dives a bit deeper. I recall talking to a friend who, like, her biggest complaint with the first film was, like, I really wanted to see what people were seeing. And it's funny because, like, that's essentially the point. Everybody sees something differently. It takes the form of your biggest fear or your greatest sorrow and, things like that. So it doesn't have a base form. But, I guess I understand the want to at least get a glimmer of what's being seen, right? And so with this one, they actually decided to dive into that. We get a chance to see what people are seeing. And so there is this whole entire, I want to say the first like opening 20 minutes is very well done in that respect, right? It starts off first with a man and his daughter, navigating the apocalyptic kind of world now, and they get attacked by a blind gang. A blind gang. Um, I thought that was interesting because it was like, oh well, hi. Of course, blind people, wouldn't necessarily be affected. I mean, that's how the last film ended. They made it to this retreat that was basically for blind people, and so they were essentially safe. They couldn't see, so the entities just left them the hell alone. Um, and so to have people now in a gang it just adds another layer because before it's the people trying to survive, and then there's the crazy people who can see it and are trying to force other people to see it and holding like cults toward the entity kind of, and then now this new layer of like blind people forming gangs and beating the shit out of people and taking their stuff. um but then after that, it again within the first 20 minutes there's like this major twist from the character that we're following. um and essentially we learn that he is infected. I'll say that simple version without giving too much of it away. Um, and it was done, like I said, really well because you don't have an idea of it until the very last moments of what he does, and then you realize, oh shit, this entire time, so he's like basically with this character, his daughter. Fuck it, because I kind of gave it away. Spoiler alert. Oh well. It's his daughter, and the entire time he's with her, and it seems like a normal, father daughter again navigating apocalyptic world, and no, the daughter is a fucking demon angel monster thing. So yeah, and another thing they did with this one, there was a lot of very into like I love seeing the start of mass chaos scenes, like the beginning of things. Like obviously I don't mind the apocalyptic things like that, but I like to see the start of that. It's something very interesting to me, and so there was like several things that happened when they showed like the start of everything happening in Barcelona, which obviously that's where it takes place. Not sure if I said that, shouldn't have needed to, but hey, Adderall. Um, so yeah, one of the things they did, there was like a mass train suicide scene and fucking tense. Um, so everybody's now like in the subway station or whatever, and um, they start to get infected. The thing is on the tracks, and it's like hundreds of people. So now you have hundreds of people barreling, like running, charging towards the tracks to get on the tracks. So there's a train coming, and then there's a guy who hasn't been infected yet. He hasn't seen it, so he's trying to get out, but there's people just walking to it. It's so frustrating, but it's again done really really well. There's another part where the guy's like in his office and he's on the phone, and the story's being told on the news. Um, there's something happening, blah blah. And behind him, he's in his office, and it's like all these glass walls, it's corporate. And while he's in the office on the phone watching the news, behind him in another office or another cubicle area is a guy who is slowly hanging himself. And you don't like you just see it happening, but like there's so much happening. And again, he's on the phone, he's on the news. You're paying attention to the conversation, you're paying attention to what they're saying on the news, and you don't fully catch what is happening until like right before it happens. And it's like, oh shit, this entire time we're watching a death happen. Um, it was just it happened slow, and again that was another really effective moment. Um, shout out, there was the actress from Barbarian. She's been picking up a lot of work lately. I really fuck with her. She's in this one. She does a really really good job. Um, So one of the things that they introduced to this, though, I wanted to go over was repenting, and well, I guess yeah, that's kind of the simplest way to explain it because eventually the character kind of starts to feel remorse for the things he's been doing, forcing people to see, and decides to no longer listen to the entity and starts to help people, and it's very interesting. The more he helps, the less he can see the entity. To the entity just finally just like, all right, well, fuck it. Clearly you can't, and so he just doesn't see it anymore. Um, and so that makes me wonder because this is another part that they dived into. Like they harped on it in the first film. And if I'm not mistaken, this is a book series, so maybe that's something that's mentioned there. Definitely let me know if that's the case. But angels. Um, in the first film as a character, Lil Rel plays a character who basically has said, he's been working on a book. Oh shit, he low-key sounds like me as I'm saying it. He's been working on a book and he's been, studying angels and just religion and stuff like that. And it's kind of something I've been doing, um, with something that I'm writing. But he was mentioning, that these could be angels of judgment and humanity is being judged. Uh, and so with this one, there is a sense that um there's angels, there's more like priests in this film. That's another thing. There's more like Catholic characters, and I think that's what like I think that's what they're heading into. I think it might actually be angels, and that they appear in again that form, and I don't really know why yet. I wanna because I wanna harp on the judgment thing, right? But I don't know. I feel like I don't know because what happened to people being raptured? Like what is if everybody is still here and once you see it you're killed, then what's the saving grace? Where is like everybody is doomed? Like I don't know. I don't understand why yet, but I do think it might be Angel. So it would be cool to get a follow up from this. Again, if that's mentioned in the books, definitely let me know. I'll probably look into it myself, but um, I love when you guys send me recommendations or let me know stuff that I had no idea about. So, um, yeah. Outside of that, it was a pretty cool film. I would say the first one I liked much better, but there were more effective mass scenes in this one, or like mass death scenes, which I like. Um, I would advise, check it out. I did give it 2 out of 5 stars. Not necessarily a bad thing. I've given films 2 out of 5 that I thought were pretty fucking good, but this one, it's I don't know. It's mid at some points and definitely interesting in others. But I'll say for that's why the first star is watchability. It is watchable. I didn't get bored watching it. There were just some scenes that I think were drawn out longer than they needed to be. Um, but those were like exposition dumps and things like that. So I don't know. I'll probably rewatch it with that in mind. And then the second one is kill count because hello. Mass death scenes. There are hundreds of fucking deaths in this film. There's like a part where there's just bodies falling from the fucking sky, like as the guys like running down the street. It's crazy. So with that, I can't necessarily give it gore because while there was so many deaths, it's not necessarily shown as much as it is implied, right? Even with the falling bodies, we don't see that up close. We just see them falling. And again, still effective, but not much gore in that sense. Killer fear factor. You know what? I'm gonna give it half of that because that is kind of fucking terrifying as I think about it. Right? Like there's this thing, and I don't know what it would take the form of for me. As a spiritual person, as a um person who tries to confront a lot of things within myself, I try to confront my fears and I try to confront my sorrows, but I'm a human and I still have them. So I couldn't even tell you what it would take the form of, but all I know is I yeah, that shit is scary. Cinematography, it didn't really have much like in the way of views and like just really dope shots. So yeah, 2.5 out of 5 stars. So if you have not seen it, check it out on Netflix.
It's all true. The boogeyman is real, and you found him.
Yo, all right, all right. So this week in horror, we have two highlights. The first one is Eli Roth's Thanksgiving trailer finally came out. If you've seen Grindhouse, the double feature, like around 06, 07, then you recall that was one of the fake trailers that they made for the film. Super funny, just like some cool little chill shit. And Eli had always said that he wanted to make that an official film. Here we are, like 15 plus years later, and bam, it's out. Or at least the trailer, so the film is coming. But either way, trailer finally came out. Looks like it leans more into horror, which I completely fucking love, and obviously, right, it's Eli Roth, but I'm excited to see what he brings to the table with that one. So definitely check out that trailer. The other one, and this one is like super dear to my heart. Actually, shout out Eli because he's super dear to my heart as in regarding to like horror and just like my interest and stuff. It's like he is Eli. And then with this one, the Goosebumps trailer came out. There's a Goosebumps rework coming out, and R.L. Stein has such a place in my horror canon heart. Like Goosebumps is the first horror book series that I read, and I was enthralled. I collected them. And so much of it is just ingrained in my knowledge of horror. Or when I think of like writing some things myself or writing like younger characters or like just things like that, it is a staple in my horror knowledge. So new trailer came out. Shout out RL, shout out Eli. Thank you both so much for what you have provided to the horror community. And I can't wait to see more. Definitely check both of those out if you have not.
Sometimes that is better.
So as always, I appreciate you guys so much for listening. Um, Don't forget to follow the official Instagram page for the pod, Manafor_podcast. And please, please, please get those votes in for Face of Horror 2023. Your boy is taking it home, but I'm definitely going to still promote it every fucking second that I can because I am the Face of Horror. Until next time, y'all, stay spooky, folks. Peace.